Thank you very much, Desiree. We are about to kickstart the program to enforce compliance with the COVID-19 regulation. As you know, we are on adjusted level 3, so there are certain compliance that needs to be complied with. Well, joining me now is Acting Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, who's just going to elaborate a bit further on why we are here. Thank you so much for your time, Minister. If you can just elaborate further.
Thank you for having us. We are here because the numbers are rising, and in places where there are large numbers or large crowds like taxi ranks and bus ranks, we need to check whether compliance is being adhered to, and in particular the wearing of masks and social distancing when people are in queues, but also the fact that taxis have to have their doors open when they are ferrying passengers. So we want to check that those things are being done, and the sanitizing of passengers that's being done, to say how are the queues being managed. But part of this work is just to create awareness in the country that we are again as a country in the midst of a third wave, and in that process we need to all of us put our hands on deck. We are aware that the vaccination program is underway. The taxi drivers are soon also going to be vaccinated within this second phase, but the issue of access to vaccine has been a major problem in terms of our ability to vaccinate more quickly, more people more quickly. We are rolling up and ramping up as more vaccines becomes available, but in the absence of mass vaccines because of the vaccine apartheid, we need to then do our part like we fought the second wave as a country together by social distancing, wearing masks, sanitizing or washing our hands, and staying home wherever it was necessary. And given the situation that we have in Gauteng, that it is the epicenter currently in the country, we need to make it clear that whatever happens in Gauteng affects other provinces. I'm from Limpopo. I know that if you say whatever you're going to do in Gauteng, there will be the road, the N1 North will be full, the N3 to KZN will be full. Actually, everybody will be going back to their own home provinces. So whatever we do here, it's easily transmittable to other provinces and impact all of us. So Gauteng must make sure it's assisted to make sure we manage the virus, whereas all other provinces must put hands on deck, and that's why we have a focused action in Gauteng to support the provincial government.
Yes. And Gauteng has recorded about over 10,000 positive cases overnight. What are immediate plans? We heard the President actually say there could be stricter regulations, particularly for Gauteng.
There should be stricter regulations for everybody, because even if Gauteng has recorded over 10,000, if you checked on the trends, they've been recording more than 62% of the infections across the country. So it's not a once-off incident. All of us must bring our hands on deck. When we go to the shops must tell us how many people are going in the shop. The malls must make sure they manage the crowds, but South Africans must also stay away. Malls must make sure that when we enter the malls, we know how many people are allowed in the malls, and the overcrowding in malls cannot continue to take place. And we should be aware that what we are doing, the economy has just started to recover. So as we balance lives, we must also balance livelihood. So we need to make sure people have lost a number of jobs. The country cannot afford that kind of economic crisis. And you recall that our bailout, our relief measures were not, our pockets are not that deep to put that relief. The 350, we couldn't extend it further because the fiscals cannot carry it. So it's upon us as South Africans to work with our government, the business people also to bring their hands on deck, including the taxi and bus operators, to bring hands on deck to protect everybody.
Yes. And Minister, you know the numbers, as you mentioned, this particular wave has surpassed the 2 previous waves' peaks combined. Don't you think this program is a little bit late, or do you believe in better late than never?
It is never late to make an intervention. If you recall, we have not been sitting on our laurels and not doing anything. That's why we get the country up into the third level. After getting the country into the third level, we started to say, how do we do enforcement? That's the acting Minister of Health, has been working with the provincial government of Gauteng to say, how do we manage the epicenter, the hotspots? How do we manage that the hospital capacity is in place? She has been already communicating. We have been communicating from our side to say, everybody must bring their hands on deck. That's why we are all aware that there is a third wave, because that communication has been going in partnership with yourselves as the SABC, and thank you for that, and also the business community. We have been putting the message across of awareness, getting people to mask up. We have been running those campaigns. This is not the first time we're doing this. We have been doing this, but we decided let's go out and just do visibility, because we want to check what's happening across the country.
Thank you very much. That was Acting Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni actually saying that if there's going to be harder restrictions, they should not just be limited to Gauteng, but they should apply nationally. And with that, it's back to studio.
Ofentse Setimo there with the acting minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni.